Saudi Arabia and China will link everything together but not interfere in domestic affairs. In a joint statement released on Friday, China and Saudi Arabia affirmed synchronized positions on a variety of issues, ranging from security to oil, and said that they will support each other while refraining from intervening in the internal affairs of the other country. The agreement was reached during the visit of Chinese President Xi Jinping to the kingdom, which took place at a time when relations between the United States and both countries were strained because of disagreements over oil production, violations of human rights, and other matters. The roughly 4,000-word joint statement was published by the official Saudi press agency, SPA, and it declared agreement on a swath of diverse global issues. These issues included oil, security, the crisis in Yemen, Iran's nuclear program, and Russia's war on Ukraine. Both Riyadh and Beijing were eager to emphasize the importance of stability in the world oil markets, highlighting the fact that Saudi Arabia is a steady exporter of crude oil to its Chinese partner. In addition to this, they reaffirmed their commitment to expand cooperation and coordination in defense domains and to maintain their partnership in combating terrorism and its associated ideologies. In the joint statement, the countries reaffirmed their commitment to continue to firmly support each other's core interests, support each other in maintaining their sovereignty and territorial integrity, and exert joint efforts to defend the principle of non-interference in the internal affairs of states, rules of international law, and fundamental principles of international relations. This would entail refraining from criticizing one another's internal policies, most likely including those pertaining to concerns of human rights and domestic rule. In a separate statement, China reaffirmed its resistance to any activities that would intervene in the internal affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but did not provide any additional information. Both China and Saudi Arabia have received a great deal of criticism for their human rights records. In the past, the United States government has taken action to address what it considers to be a number of human rights violations and abuses done by both China and Saudi Arabia. In June, the United States placed a ban on all goods that were manufactured in the western region of China known as Xinjiang. The State Department estimates that since 2017, up to 2 million Uyghurs and members of other ethnic groups have been imprisoned in a shadowy network of internment camps where they are reportedly subjected to torture, cruel and inhumane treatment such as physical and sexual abuse, forced labor, and death. Officials from China have always refuted any claims that human rights were violated in the region known as Xinjiang. The Saudi Crown Prince and de facto ruler Mohammed bin Salman, also known as MBS, was intimately involved in an operation that led to the death and dismemberment of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi, according to a report compiled by the U.S. intelligence community in 2021. The accusation was refuted by MBS. She arrived in Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia, on Wednesday for a multi-day visit to the oil-rich kingdom. On Thursday, he was greeted with a spectacular welcome by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and other Saudi dignitaries. The aircraft carrying the Chinese president arrived in Saudi Arabia, followed by military jets from that country. When the president arrived, a purple carpet was laid out for him, and cannons were fired. On Friday, she invited Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud to visit China, according to Saudi official TV. According to the Saudi press agency, SPA, she will participate in a Saudi-Chinese summit, as well as a China-Arab and a China-Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, conference during his visit. The Saudi press agency, SPA, reported on Thursday that China and Saudi Arabia signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement. This agreement includes a number of deals and memorandums of understanding, including on hydrogen energy, on coordination between the Kingdom's Vision 2030 and China's Belt and Road Initiative, and with regards to direct investment. However, the SPA did not provide details about any of these agreements. The frosty reception that U.S. Vice President Joe Biden received during his visit to the kingdom earlier this year stood in stark contrast to the warm reception that she extended to him. In October, after the Saudi-led oil cartel OPEC Plus reduced oil production, Vice President Joe Biden stated that the United States needs to rethink its relationship with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Previously, Biden had vowed to make Saudi Arabia a pariah after the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. In addition, Washington and Beijing have been at odds over Taiwan, a democratically governed island with 24 million people that Beijing claims as its territory despite the fact that it has never controlled it, and China's expanded influence in the Middle East. Both of these issues have caused tension between the two countries. Washington stated that it was not shocked by Xi's visit to Riyadh and that it was mindful of the influence that China is trying to develop throughout the world. This was in response to Xi's trip to the Saudi capital. In recent years, Saudi Arabia has been on a mission to diversify its alliances, particularly in light of growing criticism of the kingdom's policies emanating from the United States, as well as what Gulf monarchies have perceived to be a waning presence of the United States in the Middle East in terms of its security presence. Amina Bakr, chief OPEC correspondent at Energy Intelligence, remarked on Twitter that at a time when Saudi Arabia is seeking to progress its economic diversification goals, China is a powerful partner to have and far less critical compared to other Western powers. Ali Shahabi, a Saudi author and analyst, claimed that, from the Saudi perspective, there has been irritation as U.S. politicians keep defining the kingdom by the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, the war in Yemen, and human rights. Shahabi made this statement in his article. Even the United States, with all of its powers, spent 2 decades and trillions of dollars and wasted countless lives trying to change Iraq and Afghanistan, only to fail miserably, he said. Even the United Kingdom, with all of its capabilities, spent 2 decades and trillions of dollars. According to Shahabi, Saudi Arabia is pursuing a multipolar policy of strong strategic linkages. Citation needed. Despite keeping a presumably solid but unavoidably turbulent relationship with its old friend the United States, he said, it coordinates with China, India, and Russia on oil, and it coordinates with the United Kingdom and France as alternatives to the United States on arms sales.